Hello, Danny Israel. I'm here again. Got another lesson, and the title is The Memorial Blowing of the Trumpet. The Memorial Blowing of the Trumpet. Um, there's a lot of people don't know that because this Bible is about Jesus and the Israelites, Jesus and his people, and what this Bible is all about. It's their history. It's what the Lord wanted these people to do and how to live. Um, they were living under Egyptian rule, and they were actually lost. They had no hope until the Lord's after He decided that it's time to bring these people out of the captivity and free their mind and teach them who I am, tell them who I am, tell them who their God is, tell them how I redeemed them, and this is how I want you to live as a holy people from everybody else on this planet. And so that's what this Bible is all about. This Bible is all about God and his people. And he later on he brought in other people who wants to follow him. But it's all about him and these Israelites, these people. And so he freed these people, and so when he freed them, he taught them his rules, his statutes, and his judgments. And this Bible, everything in it is current. The only thing that changed when the Lord came, because He said He came to fulfill the law, and people are confused by that verse that He came to fulfill the law. Um, but He came and He fulfilled what was spoken about Him that He was going to come and fulfill, and that um, uh, there's only one thing that changed in the law when He came. Before they used to have animal sacrifice for sin. They used to kill a goat or sheep daily, sprinkle the blood for your sin. But animals can't save you. Only Jesus can save you. And so when he came, the curtains in the temple rip in two, signifying that that is over. So he nailed animal sacrifice to the cross, right? Getting rid of animal sacrifice. Now it took another man, a sinless, a blameless man, to come and redeem us back to God. And so animal sacrifice was done away with. I think it's in Acts, Romans, and it tells you that he took away the first so he could bring in the second. And the first was animal sacrifice, and now he's the ultimate sacrifice. And so he told these people, "This is what I want you to do, because I come to redeem you." So anyway, um, the Lord has these days that we're supposed to keep, and our people have no clue. And I think I have a scripture in here that tells you why they have no clue. And so Satan has his holidays, and one just went by, Labor Day. Lord has his holy days, and we keep Satan's holiday instead of God's holy day. But that's the reason why the Lord said he has 5,000 men in every generation. It's not 7,000 men in every generation that haven't bowed to Baal and keep his laws. And so he has these people around this world that still knows what the Lord wants us to do, and so um, he gave us his word so we could give it to our people so they could wake up, and then they're supposed to give it to the rest of the world. All right, so anyway, we're gonna get to this memorial blowing of the trumpet. And one last thing, all these holy days that the Lord has, 7 of them, 3 of those are um, feast. What's a feast? Like a banquet. When you eat, you make food and you eat. And 3 of these feasts we're supposed to honor to the Lord, have fun, and eat these feasts before the Lord. And you bring some food that is clean according to the dietary law. Um, and the other 4 is observations. You observe these days. You honor the Lord, and you don't work. So we'll get into it and read them so you can see for yourself what they are. All right. So first of all, let's look at trumpet. Right. So what is a trumpet used for? It says to blow a trumpet to make a sound, suggestive that of a trumpet, to sound or proclaim on or as if on a trumpet. So the sound from a trumpet is to proclaim something, and that's why we got these days. So then, what is proclaim? To announce officially or publicly, declare something one considered important with due emphasis. I like these definition. Declare officially, but you declare something one consider important, and all these holy days are important because in the scheme of the plan of the Lord, all of these days represent something. So today we're gonna find out what the memorial blowing of the trumpet represents. All right, so let's put that down here and let's look at the lesson. Okay, so we start this out Exodus 7, 15 and 16. Exodus 7 and 15. And this is the Lord telling Moses he want Moses to go and do something, right? So hear what he said. He said, get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning, talking to Moses. Lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river brink against he come. And the rod which was turned to a serpent shalt thou take in thine hand. And thou shalt say unto him, the Lord of the Hebrews had sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hereto thou wouldest not hear. Right? And so it was time. And so the Lord sent Moses to free his people. And so he tell him to go and tell Pharaoh to let my people go so they could do what? Serve me, right? In the wilderness. Okay. So now this is when the Lord want our people to know what he want us to do. Next one. Exodus 3. Exodus 3. We're going to read 12 to 14 and then 18. Okay. And he said, certainly I will be with thee. So he tells Moses that he's going to be with him. And this shall be a token unto thee. So he said, it's going to be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve God upon this mountain. Right? So he says a token and to serve God on top of this mountain. Right? He said it's going to be a token. Right? It's going to be a token. What's a token? A thing serving as a visible or tangible representation of a fact, a quality. right? And so this is a token between us and the Lord, right? Okay. Verse 13, and Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? Right? Because he said, Moses, I know these black folks. I know how they act. So when I come to them and tell them the Lord sent me, who should I tell them? You are. And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. Right? So he said, I am has sent me unto you. Right? 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 So he said, I am has sent me to you. Verse 18, and they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt. And ye shall say unto them, the Lord God of the Hebrews had met with us, and now let us go, we beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. Right? So he says that he wants us to come out and to sacrifice unto our God. Right? And this is what the Lord told Moses that he wanted. Now let's go. 1 Corinthians 10:20-21. Now these holidays that you celebrate, like the one that just went by, Labor Day, what you did, you got your barbecue, you got your food, you got all this, and you celebrated, right? Now, let me tell you what the Lord said about that celebration, right? Because it's not one of his holy day, it's one of man's holiday, which he which is a tradition that came from these gods in the past. But I say the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, right? And so the Gentiles, the other nations, right? They sacrifice to devil. So you hear what he says? That they sacrifice unto devils. And so when you sacrifice during these holidays, the thing that you put in your system, you sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. So he says, I have it that you shouldn't have fellowship with devils. Why? Because I made you free. So now why are you going to go back and serve the devil? Verse 21, ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the tables of devil. So you hear what he says? You can't serve two masters. You can't partake of my table and their table and his table. Okay? All right. Now, Exodus 7, we're going to read 17-25. Exodus 7. Thus said the Lord, in this thou shalt not No, in this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the rivers, and they shall be turned to blood. So he said, I'm going to smite with the rod in the rivers, and it shall turn to blood. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loot to drink of the water of the river. So now, why is he doing this? Why is he smiting the river and the fish will die? Because we know that that was in the Nile, and what else was in the Nile? All sorts of predators, alligators. But he specifically talked about this fish, right? And the Lord spake, and we're going to show you what that is all about. And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, take the rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon the rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all the pools of water, that they may become blood. and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moses and Aaron did so, as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servant, and all the waters that were in the rivers was turned to blood. And the fish that was in the river died, and the river stank, and the Egyptian could not drink of the water of the river. And there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantment. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, neither did he hearken unto them, as the Lord had said. And Pharaoh turned and went into his house, neither did he set his heart to this also. And all the Egyptians digged round about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled after that the Lord had smitten the river. Right, so 7 days had fulfilled, and all the water was blood. Right? Um, Wait a minute. Okay. All right. All right. So all the fish in the river died. Okay, I need. Um, Wait a minute. Oh, okay. All right, I made a mistake here, but I'm gonna go ahead and add it in. I needed to add something else to show you why these fish died. All right, let's go in here. We're gonna add this in. Okay. All right. And the Philistines. So this is First Samuel 5, and we only gonna read about 3 verses. I don't need too many. Okay, 1 to 5. And the Philistines. Okay, actually, I need 12. Okay. So let me go ahead and add that in. All right. So just give me a second. Let me add these in. I need this in here. All right, I need that one in. And then I got a second one. But I need to show you what was going on in Egypt and why the Lord had to get us out of there. So let's get. All right, all right. Just give me a second. All right. All right. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, pardon me. Sorry, but I need this in here. Okay, I got it in now. Okay, okay. So all the fish died in the river, right? even though they had other predators and different things in the river, but the Lord had to get rid of these fishes for a reason. So now let's go to 1 Samuel 5, and we're going to read 1 to 5. And the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod arose early in the morning, the Philistines, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him in his place. Right? And so we finding out who this is because he was sitting next to the Ark of the Covenant. That was a no-no. You know what? I'm sorry. Okay. Right. And I got another one that I need to add there. But okay. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, Dagon was fallen on his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord, second time. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off. Right? So it was cut off. This Dagon that they put in next to the ark of the covenant. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Therefore neither the priest of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod unto day. Right? And so the Lord did something to them, even up to this day. Now let's show you who Dagon is. And then we'll show you the reason why every morning they had to pick him up and put him up. Judges 16 and 23. Then the Lord of the Philistines gathered themselves together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon. You see that? Dear God. Right? Right? And so that's what happened. Right? So Dagon, they put him up and he was their God and they put him in the house of the Lord next to the ark. Right? So they sacrifice. And like I said, that's what these other nations they sacrifice unto who? Devils. So and to rejoice, for they said, our God had delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands. Right? And that's another right? And so and we're going to show you who Dagon is this day. But before that, I'm going to show you why the reason why his stump and everything got cut off. And every time he fell to the ground. Let me show you. I'll show you why. Isaiah 42 and 8. Right? Isaiah 42 and 8. Let's show you why this kept happening to Dagon. It says, I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another, neither my praise to graven image. So they were putting this graven image next to God, and God said, I don't share my glory with nobody. I am God alone. Right? And this is the reason why Dagon got tore up. Right? This is the reason why he got tore up. You know what? Let me add that. Let me add that in here. Okay? Let me add that in here. I might as well add it while I'm doing this. Okay? All right. Okay. Now let's go back. Okay, let's go back up here. Okay, now. Right? And so let me show you who Dagon is up to this day. Because there's a lot of people, I see our people with this thing on the truck, right? Right? Let's show you who this is. All right. Okay, Dagon. Okay, that's Dagon right there. So that's right. What they say? Dagon was originally a Babylonian fertility god who evolved into a major northwestern Semitic god, reported of fish or fishing. Right, he was worshipped by the early Amorites, founder of the city of Babylon. Right. So let's look at something. Let's look at some of his symbols. All right. Okay. All right. Matter of fact. Okay. Okay. No, I don't need that. I'm gonna show you another symbol. Let me show you the symbol that everybody knows. Right there. There it is. You know that symbol, right? Jesus in the middle of a fish. They got a cross in the middle of a fish, right? When the commandments say don't have no image, but you folks out there that have this on your truck and this is who you have this symbol. You see what happened to Dagon? I'm gonna show you another one. I'm gonna show you another one where else it is. Right? I'll show you where it is also. All right. Look at this. Right? You see that? You see the hat? Okay, let's see if we could get a side view. Let's see if we could get a side view. There it is. Look at that. What does that look like? Right there. What does that look like? All right, let's see if this will open up. The Pope headgear. Right, there's a lot. Look at that. What does that look like? Ain't that look like a fish? All right. Okay. Right, because there's a lot of things here that we have to explain. All right, so back to the lesson. Okay, so now let's go to Deuteronomy 16 and we're going to read the whole of it from 1 to 22. So now we out of Egypt now from Pharaoh. And this is what the Lord said. He said, observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought the fourth out of Egypt by night. So Abib is what? Is Hebrew. And we're going to find out what day that is. Um, all right, let me make sure that I have it. Right. So I put it in. I'm sorry, man, that right. Make sure that I have it. Okay. We'll come back to it. He says, observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord brought man, this God, boy, he's serious. Because he had all this thing planned out what he wanted. And it gonna make sense to you when we read what the month of Abib is all about. Right? Brought the fourth out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord. So you see, you're supposed to sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord, right? And what's the Passover? Easter. That's what they call Easter, right? So they got the holidays, we got our holy days, right? And the Passover is when? That's when the Lord died. He was crucified on the Passover. He said, out of the flock and the herd, in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread with it, even the bread of affliction, for thou camest forth of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land. So he said, you got to remember that day, right? The Passover. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days, right? Because after Passover, the next day is, and we'll read it, right? Neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrificed the first day at evening remain all night until morning. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, but at the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name there. And where's that place? Jerusalem. But we're not there. There thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at evening at the going down of the sun. Right? That's when it starts, at the going down of the sun. Right? At the season that thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt. What season? Abib. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work therein. Right? So even these feast days, we ain't supposed to work. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I was supposed to let you know that actually this memorial blowing of the trumpet starts this evening. This evening, right? Um, should have did this sooner, right? Thou shalt, okay, and verse 8, 6 days shall eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God. Don't do no work. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such a time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God, and with a tribute of a freewill, right? So you had a Passover, you had unleavened bread, and now you got the feast of weeks. A tribute of freewill offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according to as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy manservant and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and even the strangers, because people say, oh, this is only for Israel. He said the strangers, right, that are nations, and the fatherless and the widows that are among you, in the place which the Lord thy God had chosen to place his name there. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and to do these statutes. Here we say you got to do these. Thou shalt observe the feast of tabernacles 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. So that's another feast. And thou shalt rejoice in the feast, thou and thy son and daughters and manservant, maidservant, fatherless, and widows. 7 days thou shalt keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy God in the place, because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase. So you see what comes with keeping these days? The Lord will bless you in your increase and all the work of thine hand. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacle, and they shall not appear before me empty-handed. So these are the three that we have a feast, and the other four is observation. Like this memorial blowing of the trumpet is an observed feast, right? And that day, what we do is starts in the evening, and we uh we have an assembly, and we give the word, and everybody gather on and they hear the word, and then after that, that's it until the sun goes down, right? So it's Tuesday evening to Wednesday evening. Okay. He says, every man shall give as he's able according to the blessing of. So if the Lord bless you, if you have a good job and the Lord bless you good, he said, then you have to bring, what you can afford. If you have a less job, you bring what you could afford. So if a man making $10,000 a week, you only making 1,000 a week, this man could bring in enough for us, to help the ones who only have 1,000. They could only afford a certain amount, right? So that's what the Lord says. Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates which the Lord giveth thee throughout the tribes, and they shall judge the people. Thou shalt not rest judgment, thou shalt not respect person, neither take gift. So you hear what he says? You can't be a respecter of person. If you know that this dude could only afford a little, and this other one thing, you ain't supposed to treat this guy who could give more better than this guy who only give a little. Right? Okay. 20. That which is altogether just shalt thou follow, right, that thou mayest live, and inherit the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any tree the Lord which make unto, neither shalt thou set thee up any image which the Lord thy God hated. So he said, don't set up no image which the Lord hated, like Dagon. All right. So now I need to add one in here. because we gotta find out what Abib is. All right, so let me put that in here. The month of Abib. Let's find out what the month of Abib is in English. Well, I'll tell you what it is in English, right? Okay, so let's go to Exodus, Exodus 12 and 12. Okay, what it says. Sorry, 12 and 2. 12 and 2, that is. 12 and 2. Let's go to 2. So 12 and 2. All right, we'll do 1 and 2. Right, and we're going to add that right there. 12 and 2. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's go. Exodus 12, 1 and 2. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. What does that mean, the beginning of months? This is when the year starts. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Right? So this is when the year starts. The year doesn't start in January. Man start the year in January, but the Lord year starts in Abib. Matter of fact, let's pull it up just so you don't see that here. Just Abib. In English, the month of Abib in English. Okay. It says in the Jewish calendar, the first month of the year, according to biblical reckoning, the seventh month of the civil year, usually falling within March and April. Right? That's when spring. That's spring. Right? But according to the Bible, there's only 2 seasons, summer and winter. Right? In Genesis. But the first month of the year starts in March and April. And unlike the Gregorian calendar, according to the Lord, and because the moon and was a sign, and that what let us know the new moon when the month starts. And so the way how the Lord have it start is the beginning of the year starts in the middle of March. It usually starts in the middle in Jerusalem time. It starts in the middle of March and ends in the middle of April. Right, that's when the year starts. Okay. All right. Let's go back here now. So now let's go to Second Chronicles. And Solomon determined to build a house for the name of the Lord and a house for his kingdom. And Solomon told out 70,000 men to bear burden, and 80,000 to hew in mountains, and 3,600 to oversee them. And Solomon sent to Huram the king of Tyre, saying, As thou didst deal with David my father, and didst send him cedar to build him a house to dwell therein, even so deal with me. Behold, I build a house to the name of the Lord my God, to dedicate to him, and to burn before him sweet incense, and for continual shewbread, and for the burnt offering, and morning and evening, and on the Sabbaths, and on the new moons, and on the solemn feast of the Lord. This is an ordinance forever to Israel and anybody that comes under. You hear what he says? These is an ordinance forever. We're supposed to keep these feasts no matter what. It's forever. Second Chronicles 5:10 to 14. There was nothing in the ark save the 2 tablets which Moses put therein at Horeb, when the Lord made a covenant with the children of Israel when they came out of Egypt. So you hear what he made with us? He made a covenant, a marriage, an agreement, right, for saving us. And it came to pass when the priests were come out of the holy place, for the priest that was present was sanctified, and did not then wait by course. Also the Levites, which were the singers, all of them, Asaph, Heman, Juton, with their sons and their brethren, being arrayed in white linen, right? And who the Lord assigned? The sons, not the daughters, but the sons. The sons is the priests, not women. Being arrayed in white linen, having cymbals and psalteries and harps, stood at the east end of the altar, and with them 120 priests sounding with trumpets. Okay? And it came to pass, as the trumpeters and singers were as one, to make one sound to be heard in praising and thanking the Lord. And when they lifted up their voice with the trumpets and cymbals and instruments of music, and praised the Lord, saying, For he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. That then the house was filled with a cloud, even the house of the Lord. So the priests could not stand to minister by reason of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord had filled the house of God. Wow, that had to be a sight. Okay, so now let's go to all right. Okay, so now we are at Leviticus 23, and we're going to read 1 to 8, 14 to 16, 24, 27, 32, 34, 37, 39, and 41. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation. Even these are my feasts. And what are they? Holy convocation. What a holy convocation? That's gathering church, right? Coming together. He says, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7 days, the Sabbath of rest. So now we're talking about the regular Sabbath. Then he said, a holy convocation. This is when we have church, not the first day of the week, but the 7th day. The first day of the week is Sunday, the 7th day is Saturday, right? We ain't dealing with no 7-day Adventists. We're dealing with what the word says. The 7-day Adventists, they come up with their own doctrine, right? But we deal with the book, which he shall proclaim to be holy convocation, right? 6 days. Then he said, these are the feasts of the Lord. Now we're telling you, even holy convocation. So the same thing that we do on the regular Sabbath, when we have these feasts, we also do. We have a holy gathering, right? Some are 4 for observation, and 3 to have a feast before the Lord. That's why they would sing. That's why they were singing and eating and music, right? And the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle, right? The church. Okay. Then it says, these are the feast day of the Lord, holy convocation, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons, right? When the season come around, and he's going to tell you. In the 14th day of the first month, right? In the 14th day of the first month, which is what? Abib, March, April. At evening is the Lord Passover. So he said the 14th day is the Passover. Verse 6. And on the 15th day, the next day, the same month, is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread, right? And during this time, you have to get rid of all the yeast out of your house. And we ain't dealing with that today, right? We'll do them individually. In the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no work, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. The Lord 7 days, and in the 7 days a holy convocation you shall do no work. So, right, because 7 days is for, and ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ear until the same day that ye have brought an offering unto the Lord. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation in all your dwelling. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath. So after the feast of unleavened bread, the next day after the Sabbath, you count 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. And what is that? What is that 50-day? Pentecost, right? Pentecost, that's the next one. He said, even unto the morrow after the 7th day, right? Okay. So now we jump in on to verse 24. He said, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial blowing of the trumpet. And that's what tomorrow represent the month, right? He said, a holy convocation, right? And so that's where we're supposed to gather and hear the word. And right? Verse 27, also on the 10th day of that same month, there shall be a day of atonement, right? And this atonement is what? You're atoning for your sins. Afflict your soul, right? And it shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your soul. And usually, how we afflict our soul, we don't drink or eat anything during that time. An offering made by fire unto the Lord, right? 32. And it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your soul in the 9th day of the month. At evening, from evening unto evening, shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. Verse 34. And speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacle, for 7 days unto the Lord. So that's the last one of the year that we eat, Feast of Tabernacle, for 7 days unto the Lord. He said, these are the feasts of the Lord, which is to proclaim to be holy convocation, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and a drink offering, eat everything upon this day. Verse 39. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruits of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days, and the first day of shall be a Sabbath, and the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days. And this is the one where we deal with when we was in tents in booths. It shall be a statute forever in your generation. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Okay. All right. So now let's go. It's Exodus 12. We're going to read 43 to 49. And the Lord said unto Moses and to Aaron, this is an ordinance of the Passover. They shall no stranger eat thereof. So he says that no stranger ain't supposed to eat it. If somebody didn't come under the covenant of the Lord, they didn't get baptized and ask for forgiveness and start afresh, they ain't supposed to take part in none of these feast days. You have to come under the covenant in order to take part in these feast days. He says, there shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is brought for money, when thou hast circumcised him. And that's another requirement. You can't take part, a man can't take part of any of these feasts unless he has been circumcised. Right? That's the covenant. Then shall he eat thereof after he gets circumcised. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat of. So the strangers, these other nations, he said they should not eat thereof, right? He said, in one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry food out of the flesh abroad, out of the house. So your neighbor who's not serving the Lord, he's supposed to take part in this, in none of these feasts. He said, neither shall he break a bone thereof. Verse 47. And all the congregation of Israel shall keep it. Now, hear what he says for the strangers and foreigners. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, now, when he come under the covenant, and he will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised. Right? So, right? He said, let them be circumcised. Then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. So once he joined to the Lord under the covenant, he shall be like one of us that was born in the land. Right? For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. Verse 49. One lot shall be to him that is homeborn, which is us, the Negroes, and unto the strangers, the rest of the nation, that sojourn among you. Right? One for us and one for him, the same lot. You know, just like in Paul when they were talking about these men, about being circumcised and all this stuff. But he says one lot for them, one lot for us. If we have to do it, they have to do it because it's part of the covenant. Okay. Numbers 1, to 6. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the 2nd month, in the 2nd year, after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families, by the house of their families, with the numbers of their names, every male by their poll. So he says, after children, take some of these sons, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel. Thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies. So what age he says? From 20 years old and upward. From 20 years down, still a child. Right? So the nations, they says when you're 18, you're an adult. But the Lord says 20 and under, that's when you pick. And so even when you take part of this sacrifice and even when you are baptized, you have to be 20 and up. You have to be 20 and up because this is what the Lord requires. Okay. So all these babies and all these 14 years old and all this nonsense, It's not the true baptism. Okay, so he said, take these guys, and with you there shall be a man of every tribe, everyone head of his house, of his father. And these are the names of the men, right? And so all of these men, right? Okay, so now let's go over to Lamentations 1, and we're going 1 to 7. How do the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations and princess among the princes, how is she become tributary? So now here he's talking about, because we're not in our land, right? And we don't, our people don't even have no clue about these celebrations. So here it is. This is the reason why. Verse 2, she weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers she had none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies, because we ain't in our land no more. So they are come our enemy. Judah is gone into captivity because of his affliction. So you hear what happened to us? We was in this land flowing with milk and honey. We was keeping the commandment. We was keeping these feasts. They were doing well until we decide we don't want to do it no more. And so what happened to us? We are gone into captivity. And because of great servitude, what servitude? Slavery. She dwelled among the heathens. She findeth no rest. Ain't that what happened to us? All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. The ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. Right? So it's not happening in Jerusalem no more, no solemn feast. It says all her gates are desolate, her priests sigh, her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Verse 5, her adversary are the chief, her enemies prosper, for the Lord had afflicted her for the multitude of her transgression. See, because of our sins. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemies. Verse 6, and from the daughter of Zion all her beauties departed, her princes are become like hart that find no pasture, and they are one without strength before her pursuer. We can't fight our enemies. Jerusalem, remember in the days of her affliction and of her miseries, all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemies, and none did help her. The adversary saw her and did mock her Sabbath. See that? Mock her Sabbath. Okay. All right, Exodus 19, 1 to 25. In the third month, when the children was gone forth of the land, the same day they came into the wilderness of Sinai. For they departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness. And Moses went up unto God. Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did to the Egyptian, I brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me of all the people. And ye shall be unto me kingdom of priests. That's why we're chosen. A holy nation. These are the words which the Lord spake unto the children of Israel. 7. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words. So he called him, he told them everything and commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we're going to do it. And Moses returned the words unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people. So when the Lord came, all they heard was a voice. They didn't see a similitude, so you could make an image. And the Lord said unto Moses, all right. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people, sanctify them, clean them up, separate them. Today and tomorrow, let them wash their clothes. 11. And be ready against the third day. For the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon the mount. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up to the mount or touch the borders. Because you know how he is. And whoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. Right? They shall not a hand touch it, but he surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet sounded long, they shall come up to the mount. What's going to sound long? The trumpet. Right? Because he said, now the Lord coming. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, sanctified them, and they washed the clothes, and said unto the people, be ready. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there was thundering and lightning and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceedingly loud. So now the trumpet is blowing. What does that? It represents the Lord is coming. Right? So that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp and met with God, and they stood at the nether part. And the Mount Sinai was altogether in the smoke, and the Lord descended So now after the trumpet blew loud, now the Lord descended, and the smoke thereof ascended. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by voice. And the Lord came down upon the mountain. The Lord called unto Moses on the top of the mount, and the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through, and they want to gaze upon me. And they what died. And let the priests also which come near sanctify themselves. And Moses went down, and the Lord get them away. So Moses went down unto the people, and he spake unto them. All right, 1 Corinthians 15, 15, 51, and 52. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, when we're going to be changed? In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, what? At the last trumpet. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. This is when the Lord come back at the last trump. 1 Thessalonians 4, 16 and 17. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall raise first. Then we which are alive shall remain, and we will be caught up with him in the cloud to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we be with him forever. Matthew 24, 29 and 31. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give a light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man, and then shall all the tribe of the earth mourn. They shall see the sign of the Son of Man coming with a great cloud, and he shall descend with his angel with a great trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four corners of the earth. 2 Peter 3 and verse 10. We go 3 and verse 10 and 12. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, the works therein, shall be burned up. Looking for and hasten unto the coming day of the Lord, where the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved. And so, what is this? The coming of the Lord, right? This memorial blowing of the trumpet. Isaiah 27, 12 and 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channels of the river unto the streams of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel, right? Because he's coming back for us, his children. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and outcast in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in Jerusalem. Ezekiel 33, 1 to 12. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto the children. Okay, so all of these trumpets announce something, and I should have said, right, because this trumpet, he gonna gather them. The other one, he did this, and the other one, he did that. But I passed it, so we'll continue. This is another trumpet. He says, Son of man, speak unto Israel, saying, When I bring a sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him as the watchman, who he said, when I speak to the children, say unto them to bring us that he gonna bring some punishment on the land, he said to choose a watchman. And when he see the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet. So when he see it coming, when they think he's supposed to what? Blow the trumpet. So this is another trumpet. What? To do what? To warn the people. Then whosoever heareth the trumpet, the sound of the trumpet, and take it not warning, if the sword come and take him away, the blood is on him. Right? And so this is the warning of the trumpet. He said, he heard the sound of the trumpet, and he took not the one, his blood shall be upon him. Right? But he was taken away. But if the watchmen see the sword coming and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any persons from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but the blood is on the priest. Right? If you don't warn. And that's another one of the trumpets. Revelation 1, we're going to read 7, 12 to 16. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they shall also who pierce him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to his foot, and girded about his paps. His head and his hair was white as wool. His eyes was a flame of fire, and his feet fine brass burned in a furnace. Sound of many waters, and he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth a sharp sword. Right, so now he's coming. Revelation 8, 1 to 2, 6 to 7. And when he had opened the 7th seal, they were silent in heaven about the space of a half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. And when the 7 trumpets which had the 7 trumpets prepared them to sound, The first angel sounded, and they followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the tree was burned up, and all the tree. So now, every trumpet that blows, a disaster come, right? And so, every one of these trumpet, every time a trumpet blow, it signifies something, right? Okay, Revelation 9:13-15. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying, the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loosed the four angels which are bound in the rivers Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year to do what? Slay the third part of man. Right? So this was the sixth trumpet. Revelation 10:7. But in the day of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he had declared to his servants the prophet. So he said, after the seventh trumpet, then the mystery gonna be fulfilled. Revelation 11:15-18. And the seven angels sounded, and there were great voice in heaven saying, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdom of our Lord and of our Christ, and he shall reign forever. So now after the seventh trumpet, now what? He took over the nations, right? And now he started to reign. Verse 18, and the nations were angry because the wrath has come. So the nation angry? Yes, because it's right. And the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophet, and the saints, and to them that fear thy name, and small and great. And so he said, no, he's giving the reward to them who followed him. Revelation 14:8-10. And they followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen. So who is Babylon? That ancient city, Rome, the Catholic Church. The great city which, because she had made all nations drink of the wine of, what that wine? Bad doctrine, false doctrine. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone, and be presented of the holy angel in the presence of the Lamb. Right? And so now, let's wrap it up. Deuteronomy 6:20-25. And here he asking a question. And when thy sons ask thee in the time to come, this is the time, saying, what mean these testimonies and these statutes and judgment which the Lord our God had commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto them, unto your sons, we were Pharaoh's bondsmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord showed signs and wonders, great sores upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it of this day. So here he said to preserve your life if you keep these. Verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he had commanded us. Right? So he had commanded us to do these things, to keep these days. Right? And all these days represent something. And the memorial blowing of the trumpet represents the coming of the Lord. Right? The seventh day. Right? And so these seven plagues, one for every millennium, for every 1,000 years that he gave man. Because he gave man 6,000 years and he's coming back on the seventh day. Right? One day with the Lord is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. So one for every millennium. Because man is terrible. That's the end of the lesson. I hope you get some understanding. My name is Donnie Israel from the God of the Hebrew Ministry.